Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, March 21st. It's been a laid back Wednesday, not too many people on the chat. I just need to get the Tavern Brawl done and maybe play Hunter class cards and maybe get Hunter victories. We're on the Americas account. There might be some silent post show because there's not too much to talk about today. Let's get into the Tavern Brawl. We'll get 3 packs from Kobolds and Catacombs doing the Tavern Brawl, which is slightly nice. They're gonna try and hand us a lot more packs from the old expansion while hyping up the new expansion. Apparently now you can pre-purchase the Elder Scrolls Online Summer Set. I don't understand. If you pre-purchase it now, you immediately receive the Morrowind chapter and the Nightmare Essential Mount, along with the Queen's Bounty pack at launch. Let's see. You can also try Elder Scrolls Online for free. Until 10 a.m. Pacific time, 8:28. So they're still trying to get people to play Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not buying into it very much though, and I'm certainly not playing it. So yeah, the Year of the Raven celebration is also going on. So starting March 26th at 11:59 Pacific Daylight Time, and until April 9 at 11:59 Pacific Daylight Time, every time you complete a daily quest, you'll be awarded with a card pack. These packs may come from Journey to Unguru, Knights of the Frozen Thrones, and Kobolds and Catacombs, which I think all of those are not the ones that are going to be banned into Wild. So that's slightly nice. Tell you, if my financials were any better, I wish I could pre-order the 50 packs by default every expansion at this point. It would be an easier way to stay on top of things. It would be better to have at least my main account a lot closer to being full. But that's just not how it's going right now, certainly. If I had $50 extra to spare, I'd spend it on other games, or honestly probably just save it. Right now I have plenty of games on Steam too. Maybe I'd buy a brand new game, something that if it really caught my attention. But not too many of those are happening either. There was a game, I'm looking at a game that came out March 21st called Free at Last. It looks pretty bad. I swear if you don't have a good artist to make a game, you don't have anything in my mind. I'm just very visually focused for the audiovisual media of video games. Like if the audio sounds terrible in a game, no. If the video looks terrible, no. That's just how it is. You could trick me into buying a game that played horribly but looked pretty and sounded great. Easily. You can trick most people into that. But you cannot trick me into buying a game that looks horrible. And you cannot trick me into buying a game that sounds horrible. And this looks bad. Real bad. Early access game, he wants $9.74 right now, 25% off. Seems like it's one person called Brandon J. Hild self-publishing it on Steam Direct. No reviews, and no surprise there. Nobody's like, half the argument is that nobody can see new games on Steam. Half the argument is that people are looking at half of these new games and don't care that they're just such bad quality. uh, products that nobody is even buying them, which is not very believable, honestly. Artifact now has its Steam page up, so you can wishlist it, but it's not available for purchase yet. Maybe there's some early access beta you could have gotten into. So that gives me this, at least a slight excuse to not play it, but now I can at the very least look at the screenshots. And if anything is going to beat Hearthstone, and I don't think Artifact is, Artifact would at least visually have something there. The problem is its Dota based 3-lane attack mechanic just makes the game too complicated. And I just don't want that complication in my life when my main goal of playing my main goal of playing Hearthstone is to have a slightly laid back game experience where I can read the news and talk. There we go. That was one victory. And I could cheat, certainly, and play my secondary account. But there's actually a better thing to do right now, after we open these. I had a pretty good collection of Kobold and Catacombs cards on my main account. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is 14, 15 cards that I already had that just get turned into dust. No, I would guess it's going to be closer to 11 or 10 cards. Unless I get a legendary. If I get a legendary, then you know for a fact that that will be new. Just a lot of commons, a lot of rares. So let's see how that breaks down. 130 dust, 14 cards. So what was the one new Kobolds and Catacombs cards? It was the second copy of this. And that's it. Like, really, we can just use the search term missing to see what I could have gotten anyways. I have 400 dust. Missing in the Kobolds and Catacombs cards, we have an epic here and some duplicates here. I had a couple epics and legendaries. Couple epics and legendaries. A rare here. But even a rare would cost 100 dust. This evasion card, I've been seeing people play this a lot while doing the dungeon run. I didn't realize it was a real card you could have. So yeah, I could probably fill out 4 of the rare cards. But if I was to look at all standard cards I'm missing, I have a significant number of epics and rares still to collect. And that's why I'm thinking if I was to buy one of those 50-pack boosters, that might help me get more cards to try and catch up down the path of owning everything that I kind of need to own and want to own. Because I do want a complete collection, but there are some things that are ridiculously old and that I still don't have them. And I have no strategy really, so this was the one that we disenchanted for the dust, and now we can re-enchant cheaply back. So I disenchanted this, and see, the undo was 40, but the disenchant was 5. Actually, I shouldn't do that. That was a mistake. I should have opened up instead a Knights of the Frozen Throne pack, and I would have almost certainly gotten 2 of those. So that'll be something to consider later on. And see, if I was at 400, making a Primordial Drake might not have been a terrible thought. Looking at just the classic cards, and as far as what we're missing, I was saving up dust to try and just get the last couple of epics out of the standard set done. And then that would be interesting to see what a classic pack really even hands you if you own all the epics and are only missing legendaries. But I just wasted 40 dust like a fool. Anyways, so what I was saying earlier is this mid-range hunter is thanks to Hearthstone Deck Tracker, which is the app that shows the cards over here, and hsreplay.net, which now can look at my collection of cards and tell me the best deck to play. So ranked play, rank 21 over here on the recommended HS Replay recommended meta deck. This is pretty fully cheating because we're just playing somebody else's deck. It's not interesting to me at all to do things like this. I'd much prefer to create my own strategy and play with cards I'm interested in. But on the other hand, I am often, very, very often, frustrated with the win-lose ratio of games of my ranked play, and I'm certainly frustrated with the fact that it's been a struggle this month since they changed how ranked play worked to even get to rank 20. Like, I kind of was hoping it was going to get easier to the point where I could have gotten up to rank 15 in the first month, and that's certainly not going to happen. Let's see. Kotaku has this article where they fed the articles. I fed a neural network 12,000 video game names, and then they just talk about what the neural network then spit back out as things that it considered or thought might sound like a video game name, and it's not really anything too interesting. Gamma Sutra has an article on Nintendo working to improve discoverability of Switch titles on the eShop. Let's see. The quote is, "We've heard your feedback from yourselves, from fans, loud and clear, about the limitations of the Nintendo eShop. I can assure you, your steps are being taken over the course of the year to improve the functionality in terms of discoverability and visibility." What's the difference between discoverability and visibility? That seems like that's the same general idea. And that's Damon Baker, senior manager for publishing and developer relations for Nintendo, that was saying that. Let's see. Star Wars Battlefront 2 2.0 update unlocks all heroes and characters and ships, which is a weird way to say they're bringing back microtransactions but they're unlocking things I guess they were holding back for their next update. I don't think anybody's going to play Battlefront 2 though. I think it's too little too late. And I don't really know what you could have done to right that ship. At a certain point you've already collided with the iceberg. It's already too late. CD Projekt Red is looking for a VFX artist. CD Projekt Red also acquired another company, and so they called it opening a new company, but it wasn't really the case. They acquired another company and renamed it, which is different. Also, there was an article out that said toxic management at Telltale Games caused them to lose some of their best developers, which could certainly explain some of the lack of quality that we've seen in the later Telltale games, and just the general lack of progress, improvement on the engine in particular. That engine is such a mess. From what I hear. See, I'm at the Humble Bundle store, so that means I just need to go back to Twitter and see if there's any new news that happened while I was talking. Jumbo Bundle 11 is happening right now, so pay $1 or more, you get Dominia, Kingdom New Lands, and Rusty Lake Roots. I think Rusty Lake is a game that is like a point-click horror game. The other two be fine for me, but not standing out. If you pay more than the average of $5.07, you get Tropico 5, Tropico 5 Espionage, Tropico 5 Waterborne, Orwell Keeping an Eye on You, In++, and more games. It will be announced in 5 days, 19 hours. If you pay $15 or more, you get Abduction. So this probably would be a very good time to buy the $5.07 thing, because whatever new games get announced will probably work well for you. Let's see, let's play this. Now when they try and kill my character, they won't succeed as well. And I want to point out too that if you were to buy any of these games through the Humble Bundle, or any game through Humble Bundle, or anywhere really that has a Steam key, direct messaging those keys that you already own the game to and have no use of is a great way to support my channel, to add to my collection of my library of games to cover. The more variety of games, the more games I have to play, the less pigeonholed I become to play the same game or some terrible game. There's a lot of bad games that I could cover that nobody's probably that interested in. But I'm not sure how interested anybody is in any of my content, since I'm have so few subscribers. Speaking of new content, Bionic Commando is the remake of Bionic Commando, I believe. Hey, that game won, so far it's at a 100% win ratio. The remake advertisement for Bionic Commando Rearmed is airing on my channel starting today, so now would be the time to jump in. Oddly, the remake of the original NES game is probably a better game than Bionic Commando Rearmed. So that take that for what it is. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Tragic Master comes on the chat and says, "Good game, thanks, Tragic." I've noticed YouTube, and in this instance, it's YouTube Gaming, retweeting or talking about the Fine Brothers Entertainment. So I guess we know how long you can hide in the doghouse, and then come back and get the attention of people, and people forget about it, because the Fine Brothers Entertainment, remember, were the React channels that were going to try and license, and there was, I don't think they ever directly said it, but there was definitely an implication that they were going to license and have other React people be a part of their React channel network, and there's an implication there that they were going to start suing other people who had React channels that weren't part of their channels. And man, the fact that React channels were ever the biggest thing on YouTube is such a sad statement. And so, like, everybody on Reddit and everywhere else, I pretty much figured were not happy with them. They changed their channel name from, like, React. They had the teens react, old people react, YouTubers react, all kinds of different series they were doing. And honestly, I did like to watch a few of their content pieces every now and then. Not a lot of them. But once they did this sleazy announcement, I stopped watching them. I boycotted them. I desubscribed. And they changed their names from React Channel to Fine Brothers Entertainment, and now they're showing up and trending again. Now they're still doing the same thing, so they were able to just kind of power through the scandal, and that was all it really took to wait long enough for some other crazy thing to happen, and then people forget. I guess they're swooping in after Logan Paul. And to be fair, I guess the Fine Brothers Entertainment stuff is at least more family friendly than what Logan Paul was doing. Hey, Giant Bomb has actual content they created. They have a thing they tweeted out called "A Conversation with Joe Fielder." So that's probably a recording of, like, an audio recording conversation that might have a small chance of having some information in it of any value. It's probably going to be a lot of BS, though. Here's another article. As I'm scrolling down my Twitter, seeing if there's any new news. Fortnite tops 1.5 million in revenue during the first week on mobile. I think it is also potentially the biggest selling game, if not the biggest selling app or biggest earning app on one of the storefronts, whether the iOS storefront or the let's see, we do this first and then this second and then that. YouTube Gaming liked a tweet that says, when you jokingly reply to @YouTube Gaming and they like and reply to your tweet. Let's see. So again, YouTube and YouTube Gaming trying to do as much as they can to catch people's attention and make them forget about how awful YouTube's been lately. And I really feel like at this point I've gotten into the point where I have to just consistently bang this drum of like, never forget, YouTube is horrible. Joe Rogan, I watched the clips from the Joe Rogan podcast, not the whole thing. It's too much for me, and half the things he's talking about I'm not interested in. But he said something quite comedical where he's like, yeah, YouTube now is just a far left propaganda channel. And I mean, it's like, yeah, if everybody that left people hate are gonna get claimed to be alt-right falsely, we at this point, people in general have to assume that YouTube is a far left propaganda platform, because that's clearly the only political speech, if they want to allow political speech, that they will allow. And that clearly is the agenda of the employees and people running YouTube. I wouldn't say Google or Alphabet is. I would just say YouTube definitely is. And maybe if somebody with some prominence like Joe Rogan says something like that and it gets picked up, maybe then people at YouTube will take a step back, because he was talking about how, like, he specifically knows a couple people that work at YouTube, and that they are exactly what you would expect. As far as how extremely left political leaning and how extreme their agenda is. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. It bleeds through in every statement, every action they take. I don't want to get into a political rant though. I may need to get into a rant, but honestly, even if I need to get into a rant to kill some time, I still don't want to get into a political rant. Let's see. Try. Scrolling down. Oh yeah, I also need to play the game. And see, this was the 57% of the time win ranked play. It's gonna be 50% win ratio. Although to be fair, I wasn't paying enough attention. And that's certainly part of the reason why I don't succeed, is I'm not paying attention. Yeah, a lot of news has come out, so we'll have several other things. It's like Hearthstone number 860 aired 2 hours ago on my channel. The Game Workers Unite is a new movement that they're trying to do out of GDC to create a video game programmers union. And see, that's just like the great thing here is people were complaining about the voice actors union and SAG-AFTRA going on strike, and that being unfair because the programmers don't get any kind of like union support or anything, and people seem to have it all backwards. And clearly the message was sent that if the video game programmers, developers want a union that represents them, they should make one. And now they're making one less than a year after the strike wrapped up, in about 2 years since the strike started. And that will almost certainly improve the very poor working conditions for programmers and developers of video games. Um, it might hurt the low-end entry-level QA people, but probably not even that, because a lot of QA people are not even getting paid to test the game. So I hope that union succeeds and gets created. However, I'm not 100% sure on how unions get created in modern days and how much union busting the video game industry is going to try to do to stop unions from being created. I know Walmart in particular has been very, very much struggling and doing everything in their power to ensure unions don't get created whatsoever. The big difference, I suppose, of creating a union for Walmart or retail employees who are relatively low skill employees that could be pretty easily replaced, and video game programmers and creators is if 50% of the programmers are going to leave companies that don't allow the unions, or and go work for companies that do allow the unions, you can't replace that. In fact, even if I would say 10% of video game programmers and developers refuse to work in non-union shop companies, they probably couldn't succeed there. They probably couldn't be replaced. And 3 hours ago I started streaming, so that's got me there. Yeah. I wonder, am I not seeing YouTube's Twitter anymore? Am I just seeing YouTube Gaming? Maybe I muted them, or maybe they blocked me. That'd be funny. That'd be real funny if YouTube blocked me. Might as well block me on Twitter, block me from the partner program, block me from everything. That's what YouTube does these days, right? I'm looking at a game called Torimodosu, Torimodosu. It says, sacred land has been overrun with invading forces to the west. In this dark time like this, you awaken the deep slumber. Is your purpose to take back the previously peaceful lands and remove the darkness that falls? No reviews. Came out March 21st, just a few minutes ago. It looks, on first glance, like just another asset flip DayZ game where you're running around the forest. Well, I'm not getting 57% win ratio here. We still need to play a bunch of 100 class cards, so we might as well stick with this. And you're running around and you have a sword and you're fighting militaristic people. Sometimes it's nighttime. Maybe there's a hunger meter. Maybe there's a health meter. I don't see anything here. It's selling for $6.29 with 10% off right now. And yeah, this just looks like a Japanese spin on a asset flip game. PC Gamer has an article. Yoko Taro explains how a Coca-Cola ad inspired Nier Automata. I wanted them to realize that the person they're directing hatred towards is also just like themselves, the gamer. What Coca-Cola ad was this? Let's see. Hmm. We're capable of easily detesting people that we never met or has seen or heard of before. Let's see, what is this Coca-Cola ad? Coca-Cola Small World Machines bringing India and Pakistan together. I don't think they understand the animosity between India and Pakistan. Not that I particularly understand it. But for the short version, Pakistan was a country that broke off and formed in direct response to be a Muslim-run theocracy country, under the idea that under a united Muslim religion in Pakistan, they would be incredibly successful and show India, which is a heavily corrupt, and anybody will admit it, government that is inefficient and doesn't do very well for its people either. Unfortunately, neither Pakistan or India are very good, and a lot of it has more to do with their areas not being very rich in resources and them being overpopulated with people that do have a moderate amount of skills, certainly, so that's why they get customer service jobs, is because they speak in at least English. They so this commercial, which never aired in the United States as far as I can tell, it's asking them to put your hands on the screen. There's like 2 computer screens, monitors, and so somebody in Pakistan in front of this Coca-Cola machine is seeing you, and somebody in India is seeing the other person, and they're and if they do several things, one says like hold hands, draw a circle together, draw a peace sign, wave goodbye. This is all completely staged and fake. Like, then it gives a Coca-Cola to them. Like, so yeah, I could see why people would think, oh, this is just one of these Coca-Cola commercials that they've been trying to do, where it's all about peace and love and happiness, but it's totally based on a lack of understanding. That, and like I said, I don't have any understanding, but I do know Indians and Pakistani particularly hate each other. I mean, they are effectively the siblings that swore never to speak to each other ever again, and so I imagine there's going to be a lot of there was a lot of hate in that. And then when you have a Japanese creator who doesn't probably understand any of that, he could see and just sees a bunch of hate on the commercial. That could certainly explain it. On the other hand, I guess you could say Coca-Cola making a stupid commercial trying to sell their stupid sugar water, which nobody should ever drink ever. And geez, yeah. Come to think of it, giving Coca-Cola to a third world country or second world country that probably doesn't have as much fluoride or dental care is just compounding that teeth trouble too, like increasing cavities and such. Yeah, Coca-Cola making a stupid commercial led to Nier Automata being made. So regardless of the source of the idea played out well and was done well, and we got a good game because of it. It's an interesting source or idea. Usually in Japan, most of the ideas I think come from them eating magic mushrooms and getting high. Or they just steal it from a manga and anime. Let's see. I'm looking at a game that came out March 21st called Dungeon Gambit Boy on Steam. Looks like an 8-bit platformer, Super Meat Boy type game with either the screens themselves tilt or this is just a better directed video than they normally make for games. Well, this does look slightly higher quality. It still doesn't look polished in its animation. It seems cheaply animated, maybe asset flips. And because of that, like, I'm just not saying anything here special. It's 15% off for $4.24 if you love games like Super Meat Boy. Of course, then there's no reviews, but at this point, I guess you just have to go out there and try games if there's even a slight chance that it will be good if you're that desperate to play something new, because anything that comes out on Steam, it's taking months, if not years, for them to even get a few reviews. I'm muting so many things on my Twitter now that I think I've hit a point where I've muted more than enough to see all the posts from what's on Steam, and now I'm just eliminating things that in excess to the point where I might come to Twitter once a day and barely have a page worth of new information. Here we go. Let's go ahead and play this too. PC Gamer has an article below. Capybara's spooky roguelike might actually come out this year. And below, I'm looking at the trailer. It looks like a more polished 8-bit game. Like, just visually as a composition, there's consistency. However, that being said, the next scene is him in the main character in these dungeons areas, and it's dark again, which, jeez, you really need to have some light scenes at some point in your game. Just bright light. You cannot play your entire game in the darkness. Is this the one where you play as a candle and your head's on fire? That, I think that was one of the games that had been announced recently. Man, looking at this trailer, there's just so much darkness. Yeah. So, I would say they definitely failed to catch my attention with that trailer. And this advertisement on PC Gamer for this game failed to catch my attention. So much that it failed to catch my attention, I just closed the page without even looking to see if there was an actual release date, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article how Platinum designed into Nier Automata to feel good. So people from Platinum Games are at GDC. Actually, this is just the same article being requoted by, well, nearly the same article being recorded. And see, that's a problem with things like GDC, because you're not going to get just one news story. You're going to get 5 companies writing the exact same story and publishing it with slightly different wording. But since it's not a one-on-one exclusive interview, they're never going to have anything new or different to say. Let's hit that and that. I'm looking at a game on Steam called Coffee Crawl. Came out the 21st, no reviews. Looks like an RPG Maker type game, but it's more of like a dungeon crawler. But I imagine you might be able to make that in RPG Maker. Well, almost certainly you would, wouldn't you? That would be the main part of RPG games. That's the irony of all ironies. RPG Maker games usually don't even have an RPG element in them. Like, I've seen more that are visual novels made in RPG Maker. Well, my rule still stands to not buy anything that looks like an RPG Maker game. It's 20% off for $4. I don't think anybody would be too interested in Coffee Crawl. It is an interesting name, but it just looks like a generic RPG. Like Team YouTube, I'm following them, and they haven't reported anything since March 14th. Okay, I see. Or they blocked me on around that time, and that's the latest thing I can see. Whichever of those two things are the truth. Speaking of blocking, like, I'm still not sure what people plan to do as they're leaving Facebook. Like, will be the one question that I needed answered as people saying, hey, quit, hashtag quit Facebook, is okay, I'm willing to entertain this. Where is everybody else going if they're not going to Facebook? If we're migrating away from Facebook, where are people going? And all I get is just like a shrug, like, nowhere. I'm just quitting Facebook and not talking to anybody. And I know Facebook sucks, and I know Facebook is full of a lot of people posting a lot of garbage, but I also remember when the internet wasn't such a big thing and people didn't have it, and there was a lot of time when you were just alone, not talking to anybody, or you were stuck talking to your friends if you could be talking to your friends, and that just doesn't work when you get older and you have different time commitments and different jobs, and you're not all trapped in the same school together. And like, heck, if people said they were going back to MySpace, I'd be like, all right, well, that makes sense. But that's not what people are doing. It seems like people are just quitting communicating with people, and that less communication, I don't think, solves a lot. Interesting. So ideally, if everything goes perfectly, I win this game. I'm at 75% win ratio right now. Actually, this deck actually is working. So cheating is working. I'm gonna just leave my news feed on Twitter open, but after this game, hopefully we'll get one more victory and play, or at the very least play all the Hunter class cards we need. That just is gonna leave me to do a little silent post show to get one victory. You know what, I'm not even gonna bother with the silent post show. If it's just one victory on the Asian account, I'll just play it. Like, I don't think people really care to watch that anyways. So I think we'll just wrap up after this game if I win and get at least one quest done. And then that'll give me the opportunity to just rest up and build up the massive amount of energy that seems to be necessary to do anything intelligent or artistic. And somebody famous once said that art and creation is 95% relaxation and sleep. It really is. Like if you're working 9 to 5, you're doing factory work. You're not creating good content or good art. Speaking of art, Jim Carrey's one of his art pieces, which people may very well not heard that Jim Carrey, the comedian actor, got into painting, but he's like painting now, and one of his art pieces was on Reddit. It was pretty good. It's got style to it, but certainly not a childish, like, ridiculous art thing. It's something he has skill at, something he's been putting time into, something he's been spending a lot of money, because he uses giant globs of paint that only somebody who is super rich could ever afford. But giant globs of paint is a new art medium, and new art medium means a creative new way to display, create your art. Let's see. I don't think I can win at this rate. Yeah, I don't know how you beat this guy without something that can silence. The demo for the new Cyan game Firmament is being shown off at GDC, but I don't even think the public is allowed at GDC, so yeah, I take that for what it is, I suppose. It's a kind of complicated juggling act with Cyan, because now that we know they're going to license and re-release all the old Myst games, that the expectations are very high for that to be very good, because they're going to want to sell that for another 10 to 25 years, and they're probably not going to want to have the capability or want to work on it and release yet another version. And therefore, they have this giant project on their plate. But in the meanwhile, they're also working on Firmament, which, if it's like Abduction, is probably going to be a moderately okay game, an experiment, and a good way of testing out new engines and figuring out what you're doing, so that they can re-release Myst and make it work really good. But it still has to be of Myst quality. Like, we don't want a Myst 5 game that was really bad. And inherently, with the re-releases of Myst, they need to do like a reboot and take the good elements of the Myst games and cut out the fat and cut out the bad quality stuff. Let's see. Well, I'm just playing cards here, but that should be more than enough. I don't think I'm gonna win. Oh, I don't know if I actually talked about what my strategy was to beat the dungeon runs for Kobolds and Catacombs with the mage. As best as I can figure, and this could be completely made up hogwash, but it seems to me like the mage quest was designed for people who would have played the mage first, so very new players. And so I think along that line, the idea was you weren't supposed to play any great strategy. And anytime in the mage quest that you did all big monsters or all big spells, that you were playing some great synergized strategy, they were trying to give you put you against an algorithm that would ruin that strategy and only allow people who had very balanced, like, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm gonna try a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. So while it very well may not help you if you're trying to beat that run with the mage, I'd recommend only get one big spells, get one big army, only get one fire, only get one thing. The loot stuff is some challenging things. Getting +1/+1 on all your enemies is good. You don't absolutely need any of the loot things at all. Let's just play the game. Play the game and wrap this up. So I will be back down to 50. It does seem like this deck, though, is high enough to get close to a 57% win ratio. Particularly if I'm always paying attention and playing well. See, he could have won, but he's just toying with me. And I've got like 18 cards, so I think I'm gonna concede since I'm gonna lose anyways. Like, there's no way I'm getting past these 3 taunts, this one, and doing 23 damage. So I'm gonna let him see what he's gonna do in his last turn, and then I'm gonna just concede the game if he doesn't win. Not making it to rank 19. But we got that done, and that is all I really did need to do. Mid-range Hunter, thanks to Hearthstone Replays, hsreplays.net. So, like, here's the weird thing. I need like one more victory, and maybe, just maybe, there will be another daily quest that pops up. Because I've been running into this glitch, and I don't know if the glitch is in any way built around me doing dungeon runs, or maybe it's just built around me spending way more time than I ever have before in my life playing Hearthstone. So maybe you get these daily quests more often than once a day, which would nullify calling them daily quests, but maybe you do if you play a lot of games. Maybe there's some trick to it. We are approaching 60 packs for the main account. The other thing, I'll just show it off right quick, is on the Asian account. We have some more work to do. I guess I do need to do a silent post show always. It's stupid, but yeah, I've got to get Rogue victories. It's stupid, I know, and nobody really wants to watch it, but YouTube is my cruel master here, that telling me I have to do these things to get my show and my channel promoted. So, yeah. That's going to be it for this talking portion of the stream and this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.